Hey everyone, it's Christina Hemming, and it is May 25th, 2017. Tomorrow there's going to be a new moon in Taurus. I look at the star astrology charts in where the stars are in the sky, which is sidereal. It's 24 degrees off from Western, um, and there's a whole discussion about that, which I won't get into. So I do sidereal readings, and you can always get a reading from me at Christina Hemming at yahoo.com. I charge $1 a minute. So I'm looking at the USA chart for this new moon, and then I'll look at Donald Trump's chart because he is the leader of our country, I suppose, and he's got an exciting time going on right now. And as I said in my January and February post, there's been a huge drain energy. South Node's been going over the USA moon. So therefore, reduction in women's rights, reduction in health care, reduction in anything to do with the moon, so that's nurturing. That's the mind, the emotional body. What feeds our emotional body? Education, food, health care, women's rights. So all of that is a drain, and we've been not through the worst of it, but kind of through the worst of it. Won't be so intense anymore. It'll be different. Now it's going to shift into the money aspect. How are programs getting paid? How are things happening? And there's kind of a little bit of a hypocrisy going on in the sky right now for the USA chart. On the one hand, there's going to be a lot of joint assets that are getting expanded. So corporations, larger corporations are pulling in money. Money's going away from the individual and going more into the group. So it could be that individual taxpayer dollars are going to the $54 billion Defense Department contracts and huge cuts for social services, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. I said that all in January, that was something that Trump wasn't talking about. That is on the chopping block and will continue to be on the chopping block. What's going to happen, though, is, from what I see, is this is supposed to be a time when the USA is becoming more mature about the choices that we're making as a country. And a lot of hard choices are having to get made right now because Saturn is transiting the ascendant. And because Saturn is transiting the ascendant, there's a lot of harsh reality that's happening right now. And it's not going to get any better, especially in 2019, 2020, when Saturn, Pluto, Mars, and the South Node, and Jupiter are all together in the sky. Let me ask you a question. There was a discussion I had with a friend of mine who was a circuit chip maker. And he said, let's take a larger view and look out 10 years. What's going to happen when artificial intelligence and all these cool automatic driving cars put millions of people out of work? What's going to happen? How are people going to work? What kind of work are people going to have? How are they going to be spending their time? I mean, right now, entertainment is like at an all-time high, either through video games or the internet or through 250 channels and all the movies, etc., etc. No time like the present to just hang out and be entertained, which is, of course, a great way to pacify people. In the end, though, you have to pay for your rent, pay for food, pay for your life. And if the jobs that you're used to seeing out there are no longer there, what kind of choices are you going to make? So with that in mind, right now, The South Node is going to be entering the second house. The North Node is going to be entering the eighth house. Yeah, the stock market's still probably going to continue to go up. Money is going to flow more into joint resources away from the individual as the USA chart. Jupiter is almost on the USA Saturn. So there is a big push for this leadership thing to be the teacher. Of course, what are we teaching? We're teaching, what are the policies of the United States? They seem to be very death and destruction oriented. I mean, when you go over to Saudi Arabia and your main point is to sell $100 billion worth of arms, that has nothing to do with water desalination or food or birth control or improving the planet or discovering new things, or it's none of that. It's the same old, and we're still working through that same gripping on the old patterns and not releasing into the new patterns. That will be changing. There's no doubt about it. And that's going to be changing. And the USA is going to go through quite a identity crisis in the next couple of years. You could even think a loss of power as K2 goes through the second and then into the first house. The USA is going to have to come to terms with having less money, being less in power. The 5 trillion or 7 trillion that the Federal Reserve Bank has printed up. I mean, the deflation-inflation correlation still hasn't happened. So the reality is we still haven't realized the fallout yet from 2008. Funny enough, 2008 is 9 years ago. That's when the nodes were in the opposite places. So they were all fine with taking that cookie grab in the jar. Oh, let's take that taxpayer money and bail out those big banks. Well, now 9 years later, it's the opposite. So there's going to be some economic, monetary situations that are going to be happening where the money is going to get tighter. Budgets are going to get tighter, and it's not just because of taxes. Yeah, taxes. That tax push is probably going to happen. It is a GOP-led government, so they are going to push for some type of tax reform. And while that may be good in some instances, it's literally going to be bankrupting the USA. There's no way that we're going to be able to pay for all the programs. So now Jupiter is coming up on the Saturn in the 10th house, so we are going to be seeing a decent economic situation right now, probably for the next year or two. Then it's going to get tighter. Of course, if you're on the tight end, you're already seeing it. What's happening right now is there's a new moon happening in the USA 6th house chart. New beginnings for work, service, healthcare. We need to maintain the focus on that. But Mars is having a Mars return right now for the USA chart. Mars is coming back to the original place of 1776, July 4th, 1776, for the U.S. Constitution, not the Native American, when the Native Americans were here, which of course they were the original founders of the United States, and that's a whole other discussion. And I just want to say to any Native Americans out there how, although I didn't participate in it, I'm so sorry for the destruction that has happened and continues to happen today. So Mars is coming into the USA 7th house. It's going to be a much more aggressive energy happening right now. It's going to be pretty aggressive over the next couple of months. And especially when Mars goes into Cancer in the 8th house, kind of a dangerous time. But right now with Mars in the 7th house, watch out for your frustration and aggression. Watch out for men being more aggressive. Look at what happened yesterday in Montana. I'm sick of you reporter dudes asking me the same question and then bumping the reporter. That's going to be happening more and more. You see a lot more frustration and aggression. So we ourselves have to take care of ourselves on a daily basis, to not respond to people's aggression, to not be an aggressor, and to try to be an agent of change. Mars is an agent of change. We have to have courage in our relationships with people, in the way we deal with other countries. And I would ask the policymakers of the United States to be agents of change in a positive long-term sense, and not respond out of fear and aggression. Still a lot of healing that needs to happen in the USA chart, and a lot of healing with the nervous system. So don't forget to take your vitamin Bs. It's going to be an exciting couple of months, but it is going to be filled with a lot of aggression. And also, the USA is having a Pluto return in the next couple of years. So, days of nonviolence are not behind us. So, we need to watch out for the violence that will be occurring in the next several years. We need to stay in tune with our dreams and our visions that come through spirit and our quiet meditation time. And we need to focus as a group on being our best. Let's go to Donald Trump. Sorry I can't share the charts here with you guys. I haven't gotten the software yet to do that. Right now in Donald Trump, obviously egomaniac, bigger egomaniac than ever, and unabashedly being a dick on so many levels. Who is he hurting? Well, he's obviously, as I said in January, his relationship will be destroyed through this. He's going through a very hard time emotionally, and he's feeling very isolated. Saturn is on his moon. Saturn is opposite his sun with the North Node and Uranus. Mars is coming right up there. This guy is capable right now of being very temperamental, even more than usual. Very temperamental and very violent, and like pulling a lot of dick moves. So I would say to him, dude, you've got to meditate. You've got to think, how can I be a better leader? How can I lead through example versus pushing out of the way? Hey, take a back seat and let other people shine. And lots of losses with other countries, the energy for him going into his ego. But he is going to be going into a reflective hiding time. The North Node will be transiting into his 12th house. And so he's going to be going into a disempowered time. Also a time where he is really going to be hating his job, and his health will be suffering. So he's getting more and more isolated from his children, and he's going to have to watch his mouth. And right now, in the USA chart, next couple of days, watch out how aggressive and how angry you get. It's going to be a really bad time to have conflicts with people. So take it easy, keep breathing, and stay focused on your dreams and inspirational activities. You never know what kind of message you might be getting from the universe to do or create something great. So follow your dreams. Take time out every day to garden, walk, breathe, stay off the internet for just 10 or 15 minutes a day, and see how you can renew your own energy. Take it easy, everyone. Aloha.